Okay. Third time is the charm. The first time I tried to record this video today, I wasn't using my microphone. Tells you how out of practice I am. I know it's been a while and it's showing, okay? So there's that. Then the second time that I did this video, I discovered that I could show you some things online that I didn't have to show you like in paper form. So whatever. We're just going to try again. Third time's the charm and go from there. Several things that I want to talk about in this video. It's been a while. I haven't posted a YouTube video since right around Labor Day weekend or the week after because of all the data that we got. I shared the elephant trunk, which it's still my wallpaper on my phone. I just still love it so much. NGC 6914, we got the Iris Nebula, all of this stuff. And then about a week after my last video, or 4 or 5 days later, my husband, he finally figured out the problem, or I think he's getting close to figuring it out. Having a flats issue. We were having a flats issue with getting the right exposure and the right data for a flat for his images. We've had trouble with them ever since we moved into this house. So this isn't anything new. But I think he finally figured it out. And then we ended up getting data on the Bubble Nebula. And the Bubble Nebula has a little bit of a funny story because we've been doing this hobby for 8 years. And every time he tries to shoot the Bubble Nebula, something goes wrong. And just the same as this, flat issues for the Bubble Nebula. But like I said, I think we're getting it, or he's getting it sorted out. We've done it. We've talked a lot. We've been kind of sounding boards for each other. And then he's been doing some stuff to try to see if he can fix it. And I think that, we're going to get somewhere with it because we actually have some data to share. So let me just start with, let me come back to that in just a few minutes, because the reason that this video kind of like prompted me to do this today is because for the last few years, I have been contributing my story with deep space astrophotography, my bipolar journey, all of it with different magazines, online magazines. And every time I do it, they offer for me to purchase a printed copy of the magazines that I contribute to online. So these are 2 of them. And the one that just went live a couple nights ago, I'm going to buy, I don't have it yet, but I am going to purchase a print because I'm going to collect these for me. Cause this is just kind of like a personal, like thing for me to keep. It's a keepsake for myself. But then I went back cause I was just going to share these with you in paper form like this, like I did in my previous video, but I discovered that they're still online. So I'm going to share all 3 of them with you that I have. I think I did a 4th one, but I didn't ever get a printed copy. If I ever find it, I'll let you know. It would have been the first one I did. It probably would have been in 2022. The first one that I have of these is 2023, and then 2024 I did 2 of them. So let me just get out of here. Let me get myself awake. I want to just share with you the most recent one. So this is the most recent one with Canvas Rebel. The story just went live 2 nights ago. I will definitely be putting all of these links in the description of this video so you can go there yourself and read them. Everything in bold is the questions that they asked me and then my responses. But as you scroll through, you'll be able to see some of my pictures. Now, remember that these are compressed images, so the photos aren't going to look they look compressed. They're not as clean and clear as they are when they're the full size images, but they still look great. They look great on a phone. I think they look better on a phone than they do on a PC. But they did share some of my pictures. So, and because this was the most recent one, I've got pictures from both last year, such as the Horsehead and Flame Nebula right there. The Andromeda Galaxy, M31, that was from last year. The Orion Nebula and the Running Man Nebula, that was from last year. The Wolf's Cave Nebula was from last year. That was my first time ever shooting it. So I would like to add data to it again this year because it is a cool place in space. The Leo Triplet was from this year. I've shared that on my YouTube channel back in probably about, this was May. So maybe, I probably shared it in May or maybe even April. And then the Pillars of Creation that my husband got with his scope, that's from this year as well. And this one's LBN. I think that's 552, the inchworm cluster. All of the last 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are from this year. But this is my latest contribution with the magazine if you want to go read my story and see more there. And then I was able to pull up. We'll go back to the first one I ever did, which was believe it was this one. Yeah, because my hair was blonde. Look at that. Bleach blonde me. So this was February of 2023. So all of these pictures are going to be a bit back there, but it's same thing. They ask you questions, you give your answers. This was my M31, my Andromeda Galaxy picture. That was before that last one that we just looked at. The Dolphin Head Nebula, that was my very first time and last time shooting it. It's a very hard target to shoot from here, but it's one of my bucket list ones. So the fact that I got it at all was amazing to me. The Heart Nebula, that's a big one. I'd like to go for that again. I'd actually like to try a mosaic on it sometime this year. It's rising now, so it's good. There's my older version of the Horsehead and Flame before I got more data on it, more narrowband data. And then the Lagoon Nebula, that is also one that I can't see from my house. So the Lagoon Nebula and the Dolphin Head Nebula, those we were at a friend's observatory property up in Florissant, and we were able to see the sky from there. And then this was one of my previous really good Orion Running Man Nebula images, the Pleiades. So you can check that one out. Like I said, I will include all of these links into the description of this video. And then the one in between was Bold Journeys. So this one was, wait a minute. Yeah, this one I haven't shared with you yet. So this one was in, May this year? That's what it says, May of this year. And so it's the same kind of stuff. They ask you questions, give them your answers, and then they shared my images. They're sharing my images look a lot better on their page than on the Canvas Rebel page. I don't know why. I'm sure I sent them the same images, the same data. So I don't know why it looks better here. But we've got, that's the same. That M31 is the same one that they shared here, and you can tell that this just does not look good. And this one's rotated. That's the only difference, is I rotated it. This is the East Vale Nebula. That's the feather in my cap for the Horsehead and the Flame until I get more data. Orion Running Man. With this one, just this last February, I shared this one with them, which is the pop balloon. This is 48 hours we got on this sucker. I never shared this with you because this was last October or November that we got the data on the pop balloon. And I loved working on this one. You can just see in the picture here, it's so cool. The Rosette Nebula, also known as the Flaming Skull, depending on the orientation. The Seahorse Nebula, which I will always love. I just love the Seahorse Nebula. I'm going to have to shoot it again. And then the Soul Nebula. So you can go and look at all of these and read the stories if you want. I just thought because this one just just went live, I thought that this was a good way to kind of introduce you to the previous ones that I've done in the past. So yeah, definitely go and check those out. So I won't make myself totally full here again, but yes, so that's been really fun. So like I said, every time I do it, I buy a copy for myself, and I'm going to have a nice little collection here at some point because it's a good reminder that I'm putting beauty out in the world and I'm sharing a legacy here, and that there's something, I'm leaving a mark in my own unique way. So, but I want to share the Bubble Nebula with you, what my husband and I both got. This was my husband's version of the Bubble, and I cropped mine heavily compared to his, but I think he processed his better for the middle here where the bubble actually is. Mine's okay, but I like his a little bit better. It's one of those targets. It's like, am I looking through it or is it reflecting? And I don't even care. It's so stinking cool. But I want him to, next time, hopefully for the October new moon, to use his narrowband filter on this, just like how it pulled out some amazing colors to work with on my elephant trunk. I think it would do the same for this. I know it would do the same for this. And you can already see a nice, decent amount of hydrogen alpha and some dust here that could really be brought out by that filter. So that's the next thing that I want want him to do. I'll have to twist his arm, but hopefully we'll have a good sky for it coming up here in a couple of weeks. And then this is mine. My orientation, I wanted it different. So his orientation, my husband's, is this. So that's the same orientation. I liked mine rotated this way for whatever reason. I don't know why. I can't tell you. It doesn't really matter. And you can see I heavily cropped it. I just kind of wanted more of the focus on the middle of this target, with the bubble being, just right there. There's no room for ambiguity. And I just love this little guy right here. Is that inside the bubble? Is that on this side of the bubble? Is that on the other side of the bubble and I'm looking through it? I just don't even know. It is just the coolest thing. I love it. Anyway, I think it actually might be inside, but I don't know. I love it. Got some good data on that. Have had some really great things happen. So let me move the mouse because I know that's annoying. So anyway, I didn't share some stuff with you earlier, but the launching of this story with this magazine kind of prompted me to do it today. And I did want to talk. I won't drone on and on, but I do have a trip coming up next month. I'm very excited about it. I'm going to go visit a couple of girlfriends. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And it'll be a week-long trip, and I'm doing 2 cities. One I've never been to before, and then the other is where my bestie is. So I'm looking forward to getting to see them and spend time with them. And one of my friends that I'm going to see, I've known her since first grade, and it's just awesome. So I'm super looking forward to that. But I've had some heavy emotional stuff come up just in the last 10 days, and it's kept me from getting on YouTube because I'm not going to talk about it yet. If you are an avid follower of this channel, you know that I will talk about it sometime when I have gotten kind of to a place where I can. But I'm learning, and maybe it's because I've been documenting it on YouTube, but I'm really learning that stuff just happens. And okay, I'll give you an idea. So right now I'm in this position where I have choices to make. I have to make them for my mental well-being. I have to make some choices. And all of them are hard. All of them are hard. So I'm having to figure out what is going to be the least difficult, the most wise, and just the right thing for me personally moving forward. Though there have been tears, there will be more. But I've got this. I've said before, and I think it's even in this most recent story on Canvas Rebel, I talk about being a woman of strength versus being a strong woman, because I consider myself a woman of strength. And I'm going to try to, it's a quote. I'm going to try and say it correctly here so I don't mess it up. But a strong woman knows she has strength enough for the journey. But a woman of strength knows it is in the journey where she will become strong. And that, to me, is how I want to live. That's just how I want to do life. I want to come out of whatever comes my way with more resilience, more perseverance, a better perspective, more wisdom, a more clear direction. And I think that this next big decision that is going to be made and going to have to be made on behalf of my mental wellness and my physical well-being, it's going to be hard because it's still a very hard choice to make. But I have to make a choice, and I'm going to do what I really feel like is the best and most wise thing for me. And I will talk about it in more detail as stuff happens, as things move along. But I just wanted to go ahead and put it out there that if you don't see me on here kind of for stretches at a time, it's just because I'm going through some things. Probably. Sometimes maybe not, but probably I'm going through some things that I'm having to kind of work through, because that takes precedent. That takes precedent over my life, right? When that happens, and YouTube just has to fall kind of by the wayside a little bit until I can get to a place where I can talk about it. And I will. I know that I will. But just right now, it's just been emotional. It's been kind of hard. It's been a little bit. It's like my soul aches a little bit, and that's okay. That's just part of life. That things happen where your soul just kind of aches, and a choice has to be made, and I'm in that position, and all of the choices are going to bring tears, and which one is the best and the wisest and the one with the tears that will heal the fastest. And that's where I'm at. So I let's just say I've been doing a lot of self-care. I always end my video the same way, and I'm preaching it again today because I've been doing a lot of self-care, and I feel like it is very much helping me in my head kind of to handle everything, because I have to be able to kind of disconnect a little bit from that and distract myself from it. And I am, and it's working. And so I'm going to go do that. And right now, the way that I've been doing a lot of my self-care is through my projects. I've got this big cross stitch I'm trying to finish. I've got crochet that I'm working on. I bought a crochet book that's like a tips book and tricks book that will help me do things better. And so I'm eager to use it. And so I'm just kind of focusing on all of that right now. And the season changing is hard. Like right when I start to get like the feel, like I get good with the season, lo and behold, it changes. Now, this one's not, I don't feel typically as rough for me as changing from winter to spring. Summer to fall is just different, but it's not the same. But I do have more jaw pain lately. I've had some jaw pain. For those of you who don't know, I had 7 jaw surgeries in my 20s. So I have an artificial jaw, both joints. I have partial artificial jaw joints, 16 screws. It's a whole thing. But I have arthritis in my joints. I mean, that's been over 20 years ago now. So I have arthritis in my joints, and so when the pressures change, and now it's getting cooler, and we've got some, cooler temperatures from being in the 80s just a couple days ago to now being in the 50s tomorrow, it's, I'm hurting and I feel it. And so that's a contributor. The getting darker earlier thing, it does kind of bug, but because of the hobby that we do, it's also kind of a blessing because we can shoot before the moon rises a lot for the next 7 months or so, which is great. So there's pros and cons, but just a season change is just kind of weird. I have a hard time, and I think it's good that I'm going to do this trip next month, kind of in the middle of it, really, to kind of just like, again, self-care, distract yourself from the things that are kind of hard on you. And so I think that's what I'm doing. I'm very much looking forward to this trip. So that's about all I just wanted to share with you. I will do this one more time so you can see. There's my version of the Bubble Nebula, my husband's version of the Bubble Nebula, and then all of the articles. This is the most recent with Canvas Rebel. And then my first one that I ever did was with Voyage Denver. And Bold Journey was my second one. And like I said, I think there's another one, a fourth one, further back there. But if I find it and come across it, I'll be sure and add it in the description. But all of these I'll put below so you can go click on them and read them and see how the pictures have evolved over time. I mean, it's only been a year and a half worth of work for these 3 magazines, but it's a cool thing to do. And I like being a part of it, and I like embracing the opportunity to share some space. And it's a reminder, like these physical copies are just, they're reminders that I am trying to lift more eyes to the skies. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So no matter what's coming my way, the difficulties and everything else, there's a super beautiful, amazing, phenomenal, indescribable universe out there that is grander than everything that is happening. And I am here for it. I'm here to shoot it. I'm here to image it. I'm here to art it. So that's not going to change. All right. Well, I have spent a lot of time doing this, so I'm going to take off. I hope to see you guys sooner than later, but yeah, just give me some time here and there. But any setups we do, any data we get, I am going to share it with YouTube. All right, you guys, have a great weekend and a great rest of your day. And self-care is not selfish. All right, talk to you again soon. Bye now.